Good evening, everyone. I'm Rob Barron. I'm NJCASA'S Assistant Director, and I want to thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to wait a few minutes for all of our guests to join before we get started. So get comfortable, get ready to meet and celebrate some of our incredible colleagues tonight. And we'll get started with the program in just a few minutes. Again, thank you for joining us this evening. If you've just joined us, my name is Rob Barron, and I'm the Assistant Director at NJCASA. We're still just getting all of our guests into the room before we get started with the official program. So hang tight, stay comfortable, and we'll be kicking things off shortly. All right. Well, good evening. As I said already, my name is Rob Barron. I'm NJCASA'S Assistant Director, and I'm thrilled to welcome all of you here this evening for our 2020 September Celebration of Champions. We are so thankful for all of the support we've received during this really challenging time, and we're delighted to share this special evening with you. Before we launch into our program, I'm going to run through some quick housekeeping. For starters, we had over 160 friends registered to attend tonight's event, which is incredible. Because we have so many folks registered to attend, we have placed all of our attendees on mute, but please, we encourage you to use the chat box. It's a great place to share your excitement with other attendees and panelists, and judging by the conversation already, it seems like folks are already saying hi and getting to know each other in the chat box. The NJCASA team has held a few practice runs, and we feel like we have all of the technology worked out, but there's always a chance there could be a glitch. After all, it is 2020. Should there be a technological mishap or a tongue-tied mishap, we ask that everyone please practice patience while we get back up and running. Normally, when we hold this event, we're in person. We'd run through the location of logistics, such as where the restrooms are and the fire exits. But we assume you know where all of that stuff is, since most of you are joining us from the comfort of your own homes. So take a minute to just note the exits and keep your seat backs in their upright position. Again, all of our attendees are on mute, and we encourage you to engage in conversation and celebration in our chat room. Thank you again for joining us tonight. We're thankful for your support. And with that, I'm going to turn things over to Ruth Ann Koenig from NJCASA'S Board of Trustees to get tonight's program started.
Maybe. I would start, but I can't because somebody has stopped the video. Well, it might be the first glitch. Okay, I'm going to start no matter what's up there. Thank you, Rob, so much, and good evening from Bethany Beach, Delaware. Welcome to NJCASA's September celebration of champions. My name is Ruth Ann Koenig, and I am both the most seasoned and newest member of the NJCASA Board of Trustees. As some of you know, I was one of the founders of NJCASA back in 1981, when those of us working on the front lines realized that we needed a statewide voice. We knew then what remains true now. We are stronger when we work together. And so we founded the New Jersey Coalition Against Sexual Assault to provide training and support for our frontline providers and to advocate for survivors in Trenton and Washington, D.C. It wasn't always easy. We didn't have an office, so sometimes we met at IKEA. We could go to the restaurant and eat while we talked and then shop afterwards. Or we were at a rest stop on the Parkway so that we could include people from the southern part of New Jersey. Or even in the Sears parking lot in New Brunswick to sign our 501c3 papers. But I look at NJCASA now and I think, wow, how far we've come. Over the years, NJCASA has worked in support of our founding vision, providing compassionate support to survivors and their loved ones, while at the same time working to create a safer, more equitable New Jersey where we can all be free from the fear of sexual victimization. I am very proud and honored to have played a very small part in the creation of this organization that will soon be celebrating its 40th year. So proud, in fact, that earlier this year, after years and years of watching and supporting the organization, but not in any real official role, I asked if I could come back, if I could rejoin the board to be more closely connected to the organization that has meant so much to me, to my colleagues, and to the thousands of survivors I've worked with over the years. For me, NJCASA represents my professional passion. And why did I want to come back? It wasn't like I didn't have enough to keep me busy since I retired 4 years ago. I'm involved in other meaningful organizations. I teach at Rutgers. I spend a lot of time on the beach. I visit my grandchildren. Well, these days it's on FaceTime. But I wanted to be part of something that has become so successful. Doesn't everyone want to do that? NJCASA is an organization that's thriving. NJCASA is a force to be reckoned with. It has built relationships so that it can hold very powerful people and powerful institutions accountable. It can pass groundbreaking legislation, really confront issues of systemic racism and implicit bias, and dare to dream of a New Jersey free from sexual violence. Tonight, you'll hear more about our projects, our initiatives, and successes, and I'm hoping you'll be as inspired as I've been to be part of NJCASA and to stand on the right side of history. And I'm thankful to be on the same side as all of you. Many of you know our executive director, Patricia Teffenhart. Maybe you saw her on local or national news talking about the need for survivor-centered legislation or the long-term physical and mental health concerns that happen when somebody has been traumatized. Maybe you read one of her op-ed pieces about systems accountability. Perhaps you're a colleague working at a local sexual violence program, attending NJCASA meetings about how to support survivors during a global pandemic, or how to center racial justice during an anti-sexual violence movement. Or maybe you or someone you love has been impacted by sexual violence, and Patricia was a trusted friend or colleague that offered you support. If you know Patricia, you know how deeply she cares about survivors and how hard she's willing to work for justice and equity. I know Patricia, and I have for many years. And I can tell you that when we founded NJCASA almost 40 years ago, she is exactly the kind of caring, eloquent, tenacious leader we wanted to have at the helm. Patricia is my friend and my colleague. And as I've said many times before, she is the woman I want to be when I grow up. And now let me welcome Patricia Teffenhart, NJCASA's Executive Director, to introduce you to tonight's honorees. Thank you.
All right, can someone message in the chat box if you can see me? Yay, hi Maddie, hi everyone. Okay, I can't see myself, so I'm flying blind and hoping I don't have spinach in my teeth or anything. Thank you, Ruth Ann. As many of you have heard me say before, this is very much my dream job, and I feel like I owe so much of what I get to do every day to Ruth Ann and the rest of our founders who realize the need for an organization like NJCASA and put the hard work into creating something from scratch. I feel incredibly fortunate that this is what I get to do day in and day out. And as we had a mini cocktail reception before this event so we could spend some time with our honorees because we don't get to be with you in person this evening. And I shared with them that I recently shared an email to another colleague of mine that I'm incredibly fortunate that my job is actually a respite from the rest of the worries of the world. And so Ruth Ann, thank you for creating this organization, and thank you for loving us enough and supporting us enough to come back all these years later. We're so thankful for your steadfast commitment and leadership to NJCASA and to survivors. I want to start by introducing you to the rest of our board of trustees. I think I just messed it up, sorry. Here we go. Oh, this is going to be the problem. There we go. Okay, so you just heard from Ruth Ann, who I love the fact that we get to say that she is both our most seasoned and our newest board member. It's such a great full circle experience working with Ruth Ann, but also with us tonight and with deep appreciation for leadership to the rest of our board. I want to introduce you to Jill Zincraft, who will be sharing a little bit more tonight during our program. She is our chair. Linda Locke is our vice chair. Jackie DeVore is our secretary. Carrie Spicer is our treasurer. You'll also be hearing from her later this evening. Jillian Allen, Nicole Beers, Artine Hagshanas, Julie McClure, and Ruth Ann. So thank you all, members of our board, for giving me an opportunity to serve in this position and supporting all of the harebrained ideas we come up with at NJCASA in order to move the movement forward. Let's see. Here we go. And I want to thank our staff. The truth of the matter is that I kind of follow the Barack Obama principle of you should never be the smartest person in the room. And really that is the case, whether I'm in physical proximity with my colleagues at NJCASA or on a Zoom. I get to work with some of the most brilliant and passionate people in the world. We are a mighty but small team, and my colleagues don't shy away from hard work or challenges or uncharted terrain. In fact, I think that they actually thrive on it. And if you've read one of our blogs or groundbreaking reports or followed us on social media or known someone who sought a civil protective order or enhanced your survivor-centered practice in response to one of our trainings or facilitated a conversation about sexual violence prevention through the lens of media literacy or the breaking down of harmful gender norms, you know firsthand the brilliance of our team. I want to thank you, my dear colleagues, for helping to make NJCASA a dynamic, trailblazing, strategic, and tenacious organization that gets things done. And I'm so thankful to have you on our team. So Marissa, Alex, Anjanice, Aaron, thank you all. Denise, in particular, this evening, huge shout out and notes of appreciation. Event planning and fundraising, those are hard things to do in good times. But add a global pandemic to the mix and it becomes downright impossible. But you don't know the definition of the word impossible. You persevere, you think strategically and creatively, and you step up to every challenge that's presented to you. And we hold two major annual events every year, our 5K, which closes out Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and this event. And both of them have happened in the midst of this pandemic, and you have exceeded all of our expectations in your organizing and in your support for our fundraising efforts. So anyone who received emails about this event, all of the strategic communications that went out to each of you, personalized and individualized, that's all Denise and her hard work. And so thank you, Denise, for dedicating your time and talent to support NJCASA. And Rob Barron, you are in the spotlight. Rob is our assistant director. He joined our team in July 2015 and is therefore celebrating his 5-year anniversary with NJCASA. And when we held the September celebration 2 years ago, as I celebrated my 5-year anniversary, Rob and the team orchestrated the purchase of a giant sledgehammer that sits in my office in Lawrenceville, and they appropriately repainted it to match our brand colors. And they had all the attendees of our September celebration sign it with words of encouragement for our ongoing work of smashing the patriarchy. But Rob, in true fashion, you had to be different and celebrate your 5 years in the middle of a pandemic. So if you've worked closely with Rob, please take a moment to write a note of appreciation in the chat box. Through Rob's career, he's never shied away from a challenge, beginning his career providing care for clients in a behavioral health care setting, organizing communities to support survivors of domestic violence, launching a groundbreaking program working specifically with those who have caused harm, and now here providing support to our colleagues on the front lines and working to hold powerful people and institutions accountable. Again, if you worked with Rob on our board or as a CSBA coordinator or manager or a direct service professional or a membership delegate or a preventionist, you know what an asset Rob is to the movement. So please share a note of appreciation for him in the chat box. Personally, Rob, I know that I benefit from your good counsel, strategic mind, and dependable friendship, and I am thankful to have you as my co-pilot. Again, everyone join me in thanking Rob for all he's dedicated to NJCASA over the last 5 years, and my dear friend, here's to 25 more. You don't have to stop sending him notes in the chat box. I'm going to move on with the program, but I'm sure there's lots that people have to say. Oh, let me close that. Okay. I also want to thank our sponsors They're all listed here on the screen, but I'll just run them down. Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Uber, the Zero Abuse Project, Lyft, the Bingo Paul Civic Association, PSEG, the Lakewood Blue Claws, Manasquan Bank Charitable Foundation, Advocacy and Management Group, Planned Parenthood of Northern, Central, and Southern New Jersey, Investors Bank, Your Part-Time Controller, Health Professionals and Allied Employees, Lawrence Law, and Delta Dental. And they're not a sponsor, but I do want to take a moment to shout out Danny B. If you happen to purchase one of the cookie packages, you get to partake in this delightfulness this evening. And some of you, I think, might have already consumed them, which is totally okay too. I don't blame you. I had the good privilege of meeting Danny, who owns Sweet Danny B's Cookies, our bakery in Asbury Park, a couple years ago, as she was one of the main organizers of the Asbury Park Women's March. And what I really love about good feminists is that they find ways to stick together. And I'm so thankful that we continue to find ways to share Danny's talents with the people that we care about the most. So I hope that you enjoy the cookies if you've ordered them. And if you didn't, then you missed out, and hopefully you'll order something next time. I also want to take a minute to recognize NJCASA'S social media ambassadors. Some of them are with us this evening. Their names are all on the screen. And our social media ambassadors are digital activists and advocates who amplify the reach and impact of NJCASA'S online content by sharing it on their own social media platforms. So you can find more about our social media ambassador program on our webpage, and the link is being entered into the chat box as well. We currently have 10 social media ambassadors, and I'm incredibly thankful the time and the networks that they donate to support NJCASA. And speaking of social media, we usually benefit from having a professional photographer at our September celebration, and it's such a wonderful way for us to capture the energy of the evening with all of our friends and colleagues. And unfortunately, just like everything else in 2020, we have to shift gears a little bit. And so this is a great opportunity this evening to take some selfies. Maybe you're eating your cookies, maybe you're drinking your glass of wine, and to share your experience being at tonight's event with our friends on social media. So you can take a picture and post it on social media with the hashtag NJCASAChamps. And then here's our social media handles as well if you'd like to tag us, which would be great. Okay, so now I have the great pleasure of facilitating the awards portion of the night. As you know, this year we're shining a light on our colleagues from around the state, the heroes that are often unrecognized in the midst of incredible community chaos. And no matter the obstacles and challenges these individuals have faced, they've bravely worked on the front lines during the pandemic to serve survivors and help create a safer, more equitable Garden State. Our call for nominations yielded 24 submissions, making the task of selecting tonight's honorees incredibly challenging, as each nominee was deserving of recognition. And as such, we've invited all of our nominated colleagues to join us tonight as a small token of our appreciation for being such an asset to our field and support to the communities we serve. Here are all of our nominees, and as you'll see, we also represent the entirety of the state with these nominations. Devin Alvarez from Bergen County, Linda Stevenson from Essex, Cheyenne from Middlesex, Haley from Warren, Solange from Essex, Brianna from Hunterdon, Dana from Bergen, Michelle from Morris, Rocio from Hudson. Oh, I have to move my chat box, sorry. Katie from Warren, Amy from Burlington, and Samantha from Serve. We are so incredibly appreciative of all you do, and it really does speak volumes to what you contribute to your workplaces that your colleagues nominated you. And these nominations, they weren't like 2 sentences. Like, folks really wrote entire books about how great everyone is. And so a huge note of appreciation to our board of trustees also, for the daunting task that they had before them to make these tough selections. Without a doubt, I'm glad that I didn't have to make that decision, because I have the good pleasure of working with so many of you on the daily basis, and I know how great you all are. And I celebrate you, and we're so incredibly thankful for all you do for the movement, and we're glad to have you as colleagues. Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything, because this is weird, quite honestly. It's weird sitting here in my dining room and I can't see you. So with that, I have the great pleasure of introducing our champions, starting with the soon to be retired and well-deserved retirement of the CEO of DAISY, which is the Domestic Abuse and Sexual Assault Intervention Services Program in Sussex County. Jamie Bernard is receiving our Lifetime Award this evening. And when you've been in leadership so long, there's a lot to say. So I'm going to read directly from Jamie's nomination, which was submitted by a member of her team, because I believe the content of this nomination speaks volumes as to why she's worthy of this recognition and how appreciative we are of all you've contributed to our work. So it was written of Jamie that Jamie Bernard began her career as a champion for DAISY and our community 36 years ago. During her tenure, she's made significant contributions to power-based violence prevention and policy change. Jamie originally became involved with DAISY as a hotline volunteer, and shortly after joined the staff of DAISY as a community educator. Jamie has served as the executive director of DAISY since 1992. Within our organization, Jamie has been a leader of quality. She empowers and supports all of our ideas and permits us to run with it. She encourages teamwork on all our significant undertakings. With her guidance, we developed a diversity statement for the agency. We assessed our level of cultural competency as an organization and made changes where we saw fit. Striving to do a better job in this area is a never-ending practice that is supported and encouraged. Through continuous training on anti-oppression and prioritizing cultural competency, we foster a respectful work environment that supports, oh, I lost my line. I'm sorry. I really did lose my line. That supports and encourages, nurtures leadership, and emphasizes the effective use of all staff's talents and abilities. We strive to maintain an atmosphere of respect and trust. We feel free to explore and discuss our attitudes, beliefs, values, and behaviors with others who are similar to and different from ourselves. We recognize that to do this, we need to continually examine our prejudices as well as our policies and procedures and cultivate positive attitudinal and behavioral change in one another. Jamie will be retiring in November. We will miss this champion, but we'll cherish our memories of her. We are so very grateful for the time we have spent under her leadership and guidance and the work that has been accomplished on behalf of survivors of domestic and sexual violence and in making our community a safer place. Jamie, thank you for all you've done. We are so proud to recognize you with our Lifetime Award. Jamie, we're gonna turn you so that you can use your video and be unmuted.
Thank you, Patricia. I am truly honored and somewhat taken aback, and happy to be given an opportunity to break out the makeup and the earrings for this special evening. I want to take this opportunity to thank Patricia and NJCASA for your phenomenal work in elevating the voices of survivors and helping our agencies to become and to do better. Have much gratitude to our friends at the Division on Women for their critical support over so many years. Thank you to Gwen Federico, the fabulous Gwen Federico, for this nomination, and the staff of DAISY. Gwen and I have worked together for 20 years, and she's done just an amazing job heading up our sexual violence program. Thank you to the entire DAISY team for everything they do day in and day out to help survivors heal and to prevent sexual violence in Sussex County and everywhere. My job is to keep the boat afloat while they really do the heavy lifting, and they are really quite wonderful. And yeah, I've been around a long time, and clearly I love this work. And people keep asking me, what am I going to miss the most when I retire? And there are so many things. The DAISY staff, especially my friends and colleagues throughout the state. But one thing that really stands out is that jolt of inspiration that comes from witnessing the courage of survivors, from surviving their assault through their hospital and legal experiences, through telling friends and family, through calling an agency for help, an agency like ours for help, and sitting across from a complete stranger and sharing the most intimate and painful details, to even coming to our organizations and speaking out at our fundraisers and our events, even to providing testimony in Trenton to help for stronger legislation. It's the kind of courage that really takes your breath away. Ending my career during a pandemic has been challenging, to say the least, and but I think that we have faced it with an incredible amount of brilliant resiliency, with creativity, moving all of our services to a remote platform, keeping our shelter going, keeping our transitional apartments going, operating in a safe way has been quite the challenge, but the staff was incredible at the changes we needed to make and the complete revision of our work culture. And we have come out the other side, I think, better for it. This is such a challenging time. And I think that we all just need to power on and keep on doing the best that we can. And again, I thank you very much. I thank my friends and family for hopping on here from all over the country. Congratulations to all the awardees, and everybody stay safe out there.
Thank you, Jamie. I want to say, if we could see you in person, you'd be getting this yourself, but we're going to send these to you. These are NJCASA'S awards. I don't know if you can see them. They are actually made of recycled wood from an artist in South Jersey. And so we'll be sending these to each of our honorees. So I give this to you virtually as a thank you. And you can know, that our appreciation for you doesn't end tonight. And certainly I have a suspicion that people may be calling on you after November for words of wisdom and guidance, because you certainly have so much that we need to continue to learn from. So thank you, and thank you, Gwen, for nominating Jamie, and thank you to the board for recognizing Jamie's lifetime of commitment to survivors, and congratulations.
And thank you for the cookies.
You are welcome. Those you might actually like them more than the award, but they won't last as long.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you. So our next honoree this evening is Pam. So What I really want to highlight is that our board has selected honorees, and Jamie actually spoke to this expertly during our cocktail hour. They've really picked individuals that represent the breadth of our membership, folks that really work in all the different facets of our agencies to make our agencies smooth running machines. And our next honoree is a great example of the contributions volunteers make to our movement. And so Pamela Johnson is a confidential sexual violence advocate with SAVE of Essex County. And I'm going to read parts of her nomination as well. Pamela Johnson's passion to help survivors of sexual violence started long before she joined SAVE of Essex County, a program of Family Service League, as a volunteer confidential sexual violence advocate in 2013. Born and raised in Newark, Pam has remained committed to giving back to the community which she has called home for over 50 years. As a confidential sexual violence advocate and hotline supervisor with SAVE of Essex County, Pam provides hotline and crisis intervention services via SAVE's 24/7 emergency hotline for sexual assault survivors. In addition, Pam also provides survivor accompaniments to hospitals, police stations, and courthouses. Despite working full-time as a client solutions specialist at a bank and part-time for adults with developmental disabilities to provide for her children and grandchildren, in 2019 alone, Pam provided over 3,200 hours of coverage on our emergency hotline and accompanied 41 survivors of sexual violence, which is 23% of SAVE's total accompaniments in 2019 to local hospitals and police departments. Due to the high incidences of sexual assault in Essex County, SAVE would not be able to provide services to sexual violence survivors and their significant others if it weren't for Pam's relentless commitment to make sure that every hotline call is answered and every survivor has an advocate present during legal and medical proceedings. Pam motivates us, the staff, and advocates of SAVE of Essex County each and every day to continue our mission of providing services to survivors of sexual violence, especially to those from marginalized communities. Pam, it's an honor to recognize you, and I'm going to stop my video and mute myself so that you can be in the spotlight.
Hello, everyone. Can you see and hear me? Hi. Well, my name, again, like she said, is Pamela Johnson. And yes, I have been an advocate since 2013. I started this journey as an undergrad field work for when I attended Rutgers University. And I am also a survivor. So I really wish this was around when I was going through everything that I went through, but because of it, I'm able to give the participants or the survivors that I see the best possible care and support that I can absolutely offer. I thank Christine for nominating me, which shocked me because I wasn't looking for it. Because like I said, I would do this work whether anyone nominated me or recognized it at all, because I believe in what it is that we're doing. So I thank you very much for choosing me as a champion. Thank you, Christine, for nominating me. And I thank God for pouring into me everything that he's poured into me to do the work that I do. And I say God bless you to everyone who is on the panel and all the champions. And thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Honestly, volunteers are the backbone of our services across the state. Everyone who works at the local level knows how incredible our volunteers are. For those of you that may not be familiar, it takes a minimum of 40 hours of training to even start serving survivors as a volunteer with one of our programs. That in and of itself is a daunting enough task to dissuade tons of people from doing this work as a volunteer. And so it's a real testament to both Pam, but all of our volunteers across the state, to their commitment to survivors. that they embark upon this process, and they take on-call shifts during holidays while the rest of us are sitting at our dining room tables with our families. They're the ones, taking, calls to serve survivors in hospitals, and just tremendous amounts of appreciation for what you do, Pam. Those statistics that were written into your nomination are incredible. And it's no wonder that our board has selected you as one of our champions this year. So thank you. And we look forward to seeing what you do the next 13 years. I'm going to move on to our next honoree, which is Dr. Rebecca Vasquez. She's the Assistant Director for the Office for Violence Prevention and Victim Assistance with Rutgers University, New Brunswick, which is our only campus-based membership program. And similarly to our other honorees tonight, I'm going to read a portion of Rebecca's nomination because I feel like the words really help our honorees come to life. So it reads, "It is a great honor to nominate Dr. Rebecca Vasquez, who serves as the Assistant Director at the Rutgers Office for Violence Prevention and Victim Assistance, for this award. She was hired 2 years ago, and there are still meetings I attend where members of our community will say it was the best decision we've ever made. I know that Rebecca has already dedicated 13 plus years of her life to this work in either nonprofit agencies and other positions. I can really only speak to the amazing work she's done in the last 2 years, but I feel even in those 2 years that she has really been a champion, and as we like to say, a Rutgers rock star. I truly feel Rebecca embodies the spirit of NJCASA'S mission, and I truly look to her as a mentor and champion in the field. She brings such warmth, kindness, empathy, and understanding when meeting with survivors, and they all feel so safe talking to her. I acknowledge that it's difficult to put into words how great she is with survivors, but it's an honor to witness it every day. I love watching her do presentations for student organizations as well, because she has a similar approach with empathy, understanding, and calling people in to learn. Dr. Rebecca Vasquez is an inspirational person in our office, and we are so lucky to have her. I really do believe she embodies everything NJCASA stands for, and I truly believe she deserves to be nominated as a champion in the work. I just hope I did her justice by speaking to how great she is and how much work she has actually done. I'm going to mute myself so we can put you in the spotlight, Dr. Vasquez. Congratulations.
Hi, can everyone hear me? I hope so. Cool. All right. Well, thank you. It's hard to hear those words and not get emotional because this work is so sacred, and it's an honor to do, and it's an honor to do it alongside of people who have been doing this work for so long in so many amazing ways, from our volunteer advocates to the advocates and the administrators that have gone before us. So I'm just really grateful to NJCASA for organizing all of this and for taking the time, especially after 2020. It has been a bright light in a really tough time for us all. So thank you for NJCASA for putting this together. And thank you to Maddie Zidell, who wrote that beautiful nomination. It's an honor to work with you and all of our fellow Rutgers rock stars. We have a bunch, and I think one of the things that really stands out to me is I remember being poured into as a young professional, a young intern, a young supervisee, a young advocate, and I still think I am pretty young in the game, but at the end of the day, my job is to pour back out to survivors and the folks who are doing the work alongside me. So thank you to the folks at Rutgers VPVA for embracing me with open arms and for giving me the chance to work alongside you over these last 2 years. It's been an honor. And to all of the places that I've been before, especially Women's Space, which I know Pat and Allison are on the call as well. And starting off as an intern at Women's Space and really having that as a part of my foundation in this work has really been invaluable. So grateful to be a part of a good rooted organization doing this work in Mercer County and now in Middlesex County. I also just want to really take some time to acknowledge my family and my friends and my faith community that have given me the support and the strength in order to do this work. We don't do this in a vacuum, and we can't. We have to do it in community, and I have no shortage of that. And so I'm grateful for all of the people who have allowed me to vent and cry and laugh and live, so that I can keep pouring into survivors and into this work. And really, like I said before, this work is not work, it's a calling for me. And I thank God for the ability to call me, even though sometimes I still argue with him, because it's hard work. But I'm grateful that that I feel called to this work and will continue to do it until the wheels run off. So thank you again for the nomination, for uplifting my spirits, and for being such a part of this amazing crew of other honorees, which I'm honored to be a part of. So thank you again. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vasquez. Yep, okay. Thank you, Dr. Vasquez. We're honored to have you as one of our 2020 champions. And I really love the full circle of Ruth Ann Koenig, one of NJCASA'S founders, but also someone who was a founder of EPVA, being on our board and having the opportunity to see her growth and legacy live on in 2 organizations that are important to her and to all of us in New Jersey. As a Rutgers alumna myself, I'm so thankful that we have you there holding down the fort and continuing to serve the Rutgers community. And, you know, Maddie was in our cohort last year of building the bench, and I hold a special place in my heart for Maddie, and to know that she thinks so highly of you and put so much thought into your nomination really does speak volumes to how powerful your impact is with your colleagues at BPVA. So thank you for all that you do. I'm delighted that we have a chance to recognize you tonight. We're going to move on to our next honoree, who is Manu Matthew. She is a clinician with the Sexual Assault Support Services program in Somerset County. Manu was also in our Building the Bench cohort last year. So Building the Bench, if you're not familiar, is NJCASA leadership development program designed to really build leadership capacity from the roots of our sexual violence service organizations, with the understanding that leadership isn't dictated by title or position, and to really give folks on the front lines opportunities to shape the movement in New Jersey in progressive and important ways. And so I'm delighted that we have an opportunity to recognize you tonight, and I'm going to read part of your nomination. It is a distinct pleasure for me to write a letter of nomination for Manu Matthew for consideration of the award of Champion for Sexual Assault Survivors. I have known Manu for 3 years. She has demonstrated a clear history of investment in supporting and advocating for survivors of trauma, and particularly for survivors of oppressed and marginalized communities. Prior to her work with SAS, she worked with victims of trauma in an outpatient women's residential substance use setting, with refugee settlement and survivors of torture both in Philadelphia and in a specialized program in New York with South Asian domestic violence survivors, as well as victims of other types of trauma, including sexual violence. Manu has dedicated herself to providing the best possible services to our survivors and their loved ones, and continually seeks to educate herself and improve her capacity as a clinician. Her clinical work is exceptional, and she is well respected by both staff and her clients. She is also proving to be a leader in the program's recent and ongoing work to better center racial justice in our anti-sexual violence work. Manu has also played an active role on our program's collaboration with the county jail with respect to PREA, which is the Prison Rape Elimination Act, and working to ensure survivors have access to services. In conclusion, I feel strongly that Manu is a true champion for survivors, and on behalf of the SAS program, we strongly support her nomination for this honor. And with that, we're going to turn the spotlight over to you.
Hi, everyone. First, thank you so much to NJCASA for all of the amazing work that you have been doing on behalf of survivors of sexual violence throughout our state. It's really because of all of your efforts that we can continue to do all of our work on the ground level. I also want to thank Julie Krupinski for nominating me and those really wonderful words. I'm thankful for my colleagues who are here today. You are a true inspiration and challenge me every day to bring my best self into work. I am absolutely humbled and honored to be recognized tonight. I know that there are so many folks here who are equally dedicated to the mission of ending sexual violence and supporting survivors. I am so blessed and grateful that I get to play a small part in helping survivors find hope and healing. And that is my everyday. A mentor of mine once described sitting with a survivor and listening to their story as bearing witness. That is something that I try to be mindful of with every person that walks through my door. And now, during COVID times, shows up on my computer screen or is on the other end of the phone line. I do this as a job, but it is much more than that to me. The survivors I serve have taught me so many valuable lessons for my own life. And witnessing their strength and their resilience empowers me to continue in this fight for a more equitable society that is safe and supportive for all of us, regardless of culture, biology, ability, social standing, or choices. I know that each of you here is invested in the same future, and that makes me really hopeful. So I'm really honored and thankful to be recognized today. Thank you.
Thank you, Manu. It's an honor to work with you. As is indicated in your bio, you certainly haven't picked any easy career paths. And the survivors in the communities with which you work benefit from your approach to the work. We have an opportunity to see it firsthand when we work with you. Your continuous thirst for learning is contagious. And the fact that your colleagues have recognized you for this recognition is no surprise to us. And I'm so thankful that we get to put a spotlight on you and the work that you do every day. So congratulations. And last but not least, we have our final two awardees who are a twofer. We are recognizing both Benedette Nodamelli and Helene Zincraft. Benedette is the Finance Director and Contract Administrator, and Helene is the Grant Writer of Domestic Abuse and Sexual Assault Crisis Center of Warren County. And what I love about the recognition our board is bestowing to Benedette and Helene is the full recognition that the work that we do really requires strong rock stars behind the scenes. And so I'm going to read part of their nomination, and then we'll introduce Benedette to give some remarks, and then Helene separately. So their nomination reads, I'd like to strongly recommend and nominate a team, Benedette Nodamelli, Finance Director, and Helene Zincraft, Grant Writer and Contract Administrator. This may be an unusual nomination, but my hope is that I will be able to communicate effectively the tremendous value each have brought to this movement and support the work of serving survivors. I have worked alongside Benedette for the last 6 years, and my tenure with Helene has been a little over 4.5. While neither work directly with clients, except in the rare occurrence of responding to SART or a hotline call, or if we need a translator, they embody all that is good and just in this field. Benedette is Helene's supervisor, and this team has worked incredibly hard and have demanding jobs. They are the reason that survivors are served with integrity, because they are able to respond to the unique needs of survivors by adjusting, pivoting, and advocating to contract administrators to meet the needs of our unique community. I can honestly state that they have very strong work ethics, adaptability, and commitment. I'm going to reference a recent situation that challenged this team and, quite frankly, literally brought them close to leaving the field. DASAC was asked to help a sister agency in a neighboring county. We had a team of people that came to this agency to serve the client's needs. Benedette and Helene came to the agency to sort through the chaos of finances. There were no records, no budgets, no trail of information, and a very large deficit without the possibility of dollars coming into the agency. I remember looking at them and seeing almost a panic in their faces, and I said to them, if you want out, I understand. Please note that there were no additional dollars to their salaries for taking this task on. There was no compensated time off. There was still their primary position at DASAC in which the job still needed to get done, including quarterly reporting and closing the year-end budget. Benedette said to me, if I don't help, what will happen to the women and children who need the services? And Helene followed by saying, we can do this. I believe that we often forget that the people in the background, but they are the only reason survivors are being served. I believe Benedette and Helene operate with the highest level of integrity. I have witnessed it daily in just the interactions with stakeholders. I've watched both of them navigate complicated and complex situations, and both have set aside their egos in the name of serving survivors. I believe they are two very worthy candidates for this nomination. And Helene and Benedette, our board agrees. So I'm going to turn off my video and my mic, and we're going to turn it over to Benedette and put the spotlight on you.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, I want to say thank you very much for this wonderful recognition. I want to thank the board and the staff and board members of NJCASA for the work they do in New Jersey. Without the work, I don't think we'll be able to continue the job in Warren County. I want to thank my executive director, Jason Kraft. I thank you so much for believing in me. You have been a great leader. You have been a wonderful role model for me. I want to thank all the DSAC staff, especially the finance department. Helen, Dean, thank you for making this work easy. As we expand to Handerton, we pledge to work even more, work with integrity and honesty. I want to thank my family, my friends, and all the church community for all their support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Benedette. I'm going to turn it over to Helene.
Okay. Thank you, Patricia, and thank you so much to everyone at NJCASA for all that you do, and the Board of Trustees at NJCASA for selecting me and Benedette. It means a lot to be recognized for all the work we do behind the scenes. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to serve survivors in Warren and Hunterdon counties. I've always known that I wanted to do direct services, but wanted to contribute didn't want to do direct services, but wanted to contribute in the movement in the meaningful way, and grant writing has allowed me to do that. A huge shout out to all the DSAC staff that make my job so easy. They're all the frontline people working directly with clients and the community, and it's through their hard work and their stories that they share with me that I'm able to help secure funding to get more services for survivors and help make a bigger impact in the community. And lastly, a huge shout out to DSAC's fearless leader, Jill, who nominated me and Benedette. Jill is incredibly dedicated to this movement, as many of you know, and she is always thinking of ways to better support survivors in the community. She comes to Benedette and I pretty often with very big visions and very big asks, and by often I mean literally every week. And my first reaction is always, there's no way we can do that. And her reaction is always, yes, you can. You and Benedette always work your magic, and she's usually right. So thank you, Jill, for your unwavering trust and belief in me and Benedette. And congratulations to all the other nominees tonight on their well-earned recognition. I'm grateful to do this work alongside you.
Thank you, Helene and Benedette, for all of the work that you do. We had, as I mentioned, a little cocktail reception before we launched into tonight's program, where we got to convene with our honorees. And I was commenting on how just smart it was to recognize the folks behind the scenes, that it is true. Everything that was written in that nomination is true. We can't do the work without strong, passionate, dedicated administrators, making sure that the lights stay on and the funds are coming in, and negotiating with contract administrators to ensure that we're able to use the funds to best meet the needs of our unique communities. And Benedette and Helene certainly have lived up to the highest levels of standards for individuals in this work. And we're grateful for the work that you do and how hard you pour your hearts into everything, both now in 2 counties. And so congratulations, you deserve this nomination and this recognition, and it's such a pleasure to work with both of you. And what I love about tonight is that I have gotten to share with you all just small glimpses of what makes this work and this movement so incredible, and how amazing our colleagues are across the state. And I'm almost done. You're going to hear from her in a second, but I want you to hear about her first. Tonight, I get to also celebrate and thank everyone, including our own board chair, Jill Zincraft. Jill has served as the chair of our board for the last 3 years, and with her at the helm, we've benefited from her role as a compassionate and responsible leader. She nurtures and challenges. She is generous and bold. She allows us to embark upon a path unknown. And I think what I love and appreciate about her the most is that she gives grace. We can make mistakes and still be valued. We can be vulnerable and still be viewed as strong and capable. I have many friends in the nonprofit sector, and I wish they all had a board chair like Jill. So Jill, thank you for all that you do for NJCASA, for the membership and the movement. It's an honor to have you as a mentor, colleague, and friend. Thank you for being you. So with that, I'm going to turn the reins over to Jill. And I just want to, this will be the last time I get to see, well, I don't get to see any of you, but this will be the last time that I'm on camera or microphone this evening. I want to thank all of you who support NJCASA day in and day out. I mentioned at the beginning of my remarks how incredibly lucky I am that this is my job. If only everybody got to do a job that they loved as much as I love this one. And you all help make this organization successful, and you help make our work possible. So thank you so much. I'm going to turn it over to Jill. There's going to be a slight tech change, so don't go anywhere. We're just going to switch from a PowerPoint to sharing of a web page. So you'll see like a black screen for a second, but no worries, we're still here. Jill, it's all yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Patricia, and congratulations to all our 2020 champions and nominees. Now, you may notice that I have someone sitting next to me because I said it's so odd to engage in conversation when I'm looking at a computer screen. So I want to introduce my partner, Tom, who is going to help me. And so, yeah, you can say hi.
Hello, everyone.
So before I get started, I wanted to share with everyone that I have both good news and bad news. So put in the chat what you want to hear first. Go to the bad news. And Patricia, thank you for all those very, very kind words. So unexpected. Okay, great. I am going to share the good news. The good news, I have it on good authority that we have reached our fundraising goal for tonight. Now for the bad news, Tom, it's still in their wallets. So we've got to get to work.
It's a problem.
It's a problem. So it's an honor to be here with all of you this evening. And I'm so proud to share just a fraction of NJCASA's accomplishments with all of you. And I'm going to give you each the opportunity to contribute to their incredible work. Because just as all our county-based sexual violence services providers rely on NJCASA for their steadfast leadership, NJCASA relies on us as it continue to advocate on behalf of survivors, educate our communities, and build a better, more equitable New Jersey. Okay, in just 1 second, we're going to switch pages. So hang tight during the transition, which is happening. Tom, do you need to put your glasses on?
Perhaps.
Yep. I need you to see. Everybody get your phones out. Ah, beautiful. All right, give me 1 sec. Okay. So be prepared to be impressed what this team has managed to achieve in the last few months. And have your phones ready to text NJCASA Champs to 44321. I have my page ready to go to support NJCASA right here and now. We'll be tracking your contributions in real time as we look to meet our goal of 15,000. Remember, I told you we met it. You just have to dig deep. And so we say in fundraising, give till it feels good. And so remember that every single one of these donations counts. And so our first giving category supports serving survivors through COVID for $1,000. Since the COVID-19 pandemic was declared, NJCASA has amplified its role, working closely with county-based sexual violence programs and partners across the state, and adapting services quickly and efficiently to ensure survivors continue to have the support they need. I know we depended on NJCASA a lot. This included transitioning trainings to digital platforms, and recently NJCASA received a generous grant from the New Jersey Pandemic Relief Fund for the creation of a robust statewide awareness campaign featuring a TV and radio public service announcement in both English and Spanish. Tonight, in light of the tremendous challenges we continue to face, we're asking for your support as we enhance training, outreach, and other services in response to COVID-19. A donation at the $1,000 level will go towards NJCASA's ongoing efforts to support our membership programs and meet the unique needs of survivors now and in the aftermath of this crisis. Watch our PSA while you give.
There are nearly 2 million survivors of sexual violence living in New Jersey today. During these difficult times, it may feel overwhelming to seek support. The New Jersey Coalition Against Sexual Assault's statewide network of professionals is ready to assist you with free, confidential counseling to help navigate medical and legal services, or to just talk to someone on our 24-hour hotline. While we recognize that every survivor will need different services, some things are universal, like the confirmation that what happened to you is not your fault. Whether you experienced a form of sexual violence recently or years ago, our free confidential support is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 800-601-7200. Remember, you're not alone. For more information and to find help in your county, visit njcasa.org.
Whoa, look at that number go up, everyone. They say in fundraising that if you don't ask, you can't receive. We try so hard to walk that balance between saying what we need, but wanting to be mindful, especially in light of the impact of COVID on our communities and friends. Thank you to those who gave so generously at this giving level. We are so thankful. Oh, I see. Look at all the names up there. William Krakow, thank you. And Donna Smith, and Marjolaine, and Lori, and Donna, thank you. Okay, hey, Tom, quick question.
Yes.
Do you know why lobsters don't give to charity? Why don't lobsters give to charity?
I have no idea. Why?
Because they're shellfish. Now, if you want me to stop telling jokes, we'll get through the rest of this giving much quicker. So our next giving level is Centering Survivor Voices for $750. NJCASA recognizes the importance of identifying and addressing how sexual violence impacts the health, safety, and welfare of individuals and communities throughout New Jersey, and how it often intersects with other types of violence and health disparities, such as those based on socioeconomic factors, sexual orientation, disability status, and more. This is why they conducted a comprehensive survivors of sexual violence needs assessment, the first of its kind in New Jersey, gathering the lived experiences of nearly 400 survivors across the state. NJCASA is eager to share their findings in a new report. And in 2021, with the support with the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, they'll virtually convene leaders across all sectors to center these findings and discuss how together we can improve survivor services. And keep those dollars coming in. We are so close to 15,000. And I promise I won't tell another joke if we come to 15,000. Oh, did you see that? It came in. Wait, but I had one more joke. No, keep giving. Okay, For $750, that gift will enable NJCASA to work collaboratively with allies and partners to explore better options and solutions that will improve the quality of life of survivors across New Jersey and beyond. And I just want to say thank you again for your generosity and support. Our next giving level is driving change through data collection for $500. In 2019, NJCASA collected monthly stats on service delivery from New Jersey's county-based sexual violence service programs. And earlier this summer, wait, are you watching that number go up? Crazy. I told you we're going to reach this goal. NJCASA released a public-facing report focusing on the success and opportunities for growth as we continue to strive to meet the needs of every survivor. This report demonstrates the tremendous work being done by providers across the state who continue to offer life-saving services with limited funding. Your $500 contribution will enable NJCASA to continue collecting robust data and use this information to build capacity of service providers and enhance support to all survivors in the community they serve. And so I want to say again, thank you. We've got all those names coming up. Our next giving category is prioritizing prevention for $250. Friends, I have some good news to share, not the same, different. Sexual violence is 100% preventable. This is why in late 2019, NJCASA launched an exciting public education campaign entitled NJCASA Cares that focuses on 5 foundational blocks of sexual violence prevention: community, autonomy, reflection, empathy, and society. And in March of this year, NJCASA also introduced a new PSA on the topic of prevention and hosted an open house to showcase this video. The message is simple but powerful. We can make a difference together. And so tonight, we are here to ask you to help us end sexual violence once and for all. Your $250 donation will go towards educating the public about what we can all do to build a safer, more equitable Garden State. Watch our prevention PSA while you donate.
We've been hearing a lot about sexual violence in the news. It's really important that we're finally talking about it, but it can be overwhelming. So let's discuss some good news. Sexual violence is 100% preventable. The reality is that we all want to create and live in a better, safer world. So how do we get there? First, let's recognize that we each have a part to play in asking for and receiving consent in our day-to-day interactions.
Can I play next to you? Yes.
And it's never too early to start or to encourage that behavior with the young people in your life. Every day, we have the power to model positive behavior.
May I hold your hand?
No, thank you.
That's okay.
Behavior that will help create a world free from sexual violence. We can show today's children the steps they can take to create a safer tomorrow, to grow into caring adults who respect people's choices.
I thought I wanted to go down the slide, but I changed my mind.
Simple things like not forcing friends to do anything they don't want to do can help create a world free from sexual violence. Think how the world can be. We can do this. We can create a safer Garden State. Go to njcasa.org today to learn more.
I really love that one. And I love all of you who uphold the principles of prevention in your daily lives. Thank you for supporting our work. It means so very much to us. I know I said I wouldn't, but I just have one more. Tom.
Yes.
Why did the matching gift program at the sushi restaurant fail?
No idea. Can you tell me?
Yeah, because people thought it was too fishy. Okay, we're almost done, everyone. And look at how much we've raised. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Our next giving category is Speaking Truth to Power for $100. Following continued reporting on incidents of sexual harassment and misogyny in New Jersey political sphere, NJCASA launched a survey on misogyny and harassment in New Jersey politics, a project supported by the Fund for New Jersey. From the data collected in this survey, NJCASA issues a report including I'm struggling because I think I want to tell more jokes, policy recommendations, and in August hosted a live panel discussion about the findings of the survey, bringing to the forefront the perspectives of several women leaders from across the state for an open and honest conversation about these issues. Tonight, we are requesting your support as we continue to examine the impact of harassment and misogyny in New Jersey politics. Your $100 donation will enable us to host trainings, workshops, panel discussions, and more that support making the political sphere in New Jersey a more accountable, supportive, and equitable environment for all. And so thank you, thank you, thank you. Just so you know, Tom always says I'm not funny, but I hope that you found my few jokes funny tonight, because I think I'm funny. And we're almost to the end of our asks. So if you haven't given yet, I hope you'll consider our next giving level, which is an allied membership at $50. After learning about NJCASA's work tonight, I'm here to invite each of you personally to become a part of the NJCASA family. It has been probably one of the most fulfilling movements in my life. It's as easy as signing up for NJCASA's wonderful allied membership program. With over 50 standing members, our allied program is a large and growing family of supporters and friends. Only a $50 annual contribution makes you a member, which means that anyone who has already donated this evening can consider themselves a part of this special group. And you are very special to us. Allied members receive discounts on special events like NJCASA's annual 5K, copies of their biannual reports, and invitations to private member events. In fact, many of our allied members joined us this evening prior to this event for an invite-only virtual cocktail reception. And as we close out the evening and look to our fundraising totals for the night, we ask all of you who have yet to contribute to please consider a $50 donation and becoming a member of our allied family. I want to thank you all one more time for being with us tonight, for working on the front lines, for supporting our colleagues who do this work on the front lines, for being friends and allies. It is true that we cannot do this work without you. On behalf of all my dear colleagues on the NJCASA Board of Trustees, thank you. We are very fortunate to have you in our community. And Tom, thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah. And with that, I'm going to turn things over to NJCASA's treasurer, my friend and colleague, Carrie Spicer.
Hello, everyone. Hopefully you can see me and hear me. Thank you so much, Jill. And I want to congratulate again all of our impressive honorees tonight. Wow, all of the work that you do. Thank you so much for everything that you do for us. As treasurer, my unique role is to ensure that we have the resources that we need to do the work that needs to be done. And I know how hard the NJCASA team has worked. They pay attention to every detail, especially for tonight's event, making sure that we could have a great time, that we can be connected, and that we can celebrate together, even despite our inability to convene in person. So I want to take a minute to recognize one more time our NJCASA staff for their creativity, tenacity, and commitment to our mission. We are so fortunate to have Patricia, Rob, Marissa, Alex, Anjanice, Aaron, and Denise on our team. Please give it up to them in the chat and give them a virtual round of applause and thanks for us being able to connect tonight all together like this. And it's also, I would also like, oh, thank you for the shout outs. I hear ya, great. I also would like to thank all of you for being here. It's so nice that we have this opportunity to connect, even if we have to do it in a virtual space, and to celebrate those that are on the front lines and assisting with in the movement. So thank you all so much for joining us and helping to ensure that we have the resources that we need to keep moving forward. Despite how much we've accomplished, there is still so much more to do. And the investment that you've made in NJCASA is not one that we take lightly. We thank you very, very much from the bottom of our hearts for your support to this organization. And on that note, I also want to shout out our sponsors again, and thank you so much for all of their support as well. Every registrant for tonight's event will receive a follow-up email that includes links on how to give online in case you were unable to participate in real time. And just please know that no amount is too small. Every bit helps. We know these are really challenging times. We appreciate you, and we really wish everyone ongoing health and wellness. Please take only the very best care of yourselves, and thank you so much for being part of our movement and our organization and supporting NJCASA. Thank you all so much. It's been a lovely evening, and be well. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks so much for coming.